Hello students, I am VLN Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adhikavya Nannaya University, Rajahmundry. Now I would like to discuss about 3rd BSc Biochemistry, 5th semester, 6th paper Molecular Biology and Recombinant DNA Technology, and from this paper we have discussed blotting techniques, northern blotting and southern blotting. Now let's see about western blotting. Okay, so before going to western blot, let's see the differences between the topic, the process southern blotting and northern blotting. Okay, so then we'll move to the western blotting technique. Okay, firstly southern blotting is for the detection of DNA and northern blotting is for the detection of RNA and western blotting is for the detection of protein. First of all, what is blotting? If you see, these blots are the techniques which will help us to transfer DNA, RNA and proteins onto a carrier so that they can be separated, and often followed the use of a gel electrophoresis. Here we can easily transfer these nucleic acids and proteins onto other carriers for separation and identification, and this carrier is mostly gel electrophoresis. Okay, gel electrophoresis, agarose gel electrophoresis is the most important carrier here. Okay, now let's see what is southern blotting. This was developed in the 1975 by Edwin Southern, and he developed this southern blotting for the identification of DNA. Okay, for the identification of DNA, and this southern blotting, it involves a separation, transfer and hybridization of DNA. Okay, so separation, for separation what steps it involves means, firstly DNA, genomic DNA is isolated. Okay, genomic DNA is isolated. And isolated genomic DNA is treated with restriction endonucleases enzymes to form different fragments of the DNA. DNA fragments will be formed by action of restriction endonucleases on DNA. Okay, and these particular DNA fragments will be separated based on their molecular weight, based on their size, namely based on their size, using agarose gel electrophoresis. Okay, and this will be carried using agarose gel electrophoresis, and at the end of agarose gel electrophoresis, whatever the DNA bands produced on the gel will be transferred. So this is the second step. So these will be transferred onto this nitrocellulose paper, and after transformation these will be hybridized with a radioactive probe. Okay, radioactive labeled probe. Okay, here key method for this southern blotting is hybridization. Not only for southern blotting, for northern blotting also hybridization is the key method. Okay, hybridization means it is nothing but the formation of double stranded DNA molecule between the single stranded DNA probe and single stranded target patient DNA. Between these two DNA fragments there will be a synthesis of a new double stranded DNA molecule, that is called as hybridization. Okay, if you see the steps, firstly we will separate the DNA from the cell, and this DNA which we are going to analyze will be treated with restriction enzymes, and will get restriction fragments of DNA, and the complex mixture of fragments is and these will be added to the agarose gel, and gel electrophoresis will be carried, and these will be separated based on the size of the fragments. And later what happens, these particular DNA bands which are formed at the end of agarose gel electrophoresis, these should be transferred onto the nitrocellulose paper or to the nylon membrane. Anything can be selected, nitrocellulose filter or nylon membrane. Okay, and finally these bands will be transferred onto the NC paper or nylon membrane. Okay, so after that we'll bake this particular nitrocellulose paper to fix the DNA bands onto the NCP. Okay, and next process is hybridization process. Here a radio labeled probe is treated to this nitrocellulose filter paper or to the nylon paper. This filter paper is incubated with the probe solution for hybridization, and probe gets hybridized to the complementary DNA, and later excessive probes are washed out using a washing buffer. Excess probe is washed away with the probe bound to the filter is detected by autoradiography. Finally, by using autoradiography we can find the probe attached DNA fragments. Okay, so this is the mechanism, and now let's see applications for gene discovery, gene mapping, for gene evolution, and for developmental studies of the genes, and in few diagnostic methods, and for forensic analysis these Southern blots were used. Okay, so this Southern blotting method and the Southern blot has wide variety of applications. Few of them are these Southern blot is helpful in gene discovery, gene mapping, gene evolution, developmental studies, diagnosis, forensic studies, and we can determine the molecular weight of the restriction fragments using this Southern blot, and we can also detect the presence of particular DNA fragment using this Southern blot, and we can analyze genetic patterns using Southern blot, and also in DNA fingerprinting, genetic engineering, and forensic science studies, particularly for paternity testing, personal identification, and for sex determination, this particular Southern blot can be used. Okay, and also in developing genetically modified organisms also this Southern blotting is used, and also for diagnosis of congenital inherited diseases, and also for identifying HIV type 1, and also for infectious diseases, and in the diagnosis of cancers and genetic diseases, leukemias, this particular Southern blot is used. If you see the advantages, this is a effective way to detect specific DNA from complex sample of DNA, and this will help us to develop a specific human fingerprint similar to the real human fingerprint, and also we can analyze long stretches of DNA, and we can also quantify, that means we can identify amount of DNA present, and also identify genetically modified organisms, and this is cheaper than DNA sequencing. These are the advantages. If you see the disadvantages, it is more expensive, complex, and it should be done manually and time consuming, and requires large amount of target DNA. This is about Southern blotting. Okay. The next method is Northern blotting. In Northern blotting, we can detect specific RNA sequence, and this is developed in the year 1977 by James Alvin, David Kemp, and George Strack. Okay, they developed this in Stanford University, and they named it as Northern blotting after Southern blotting name. And if you see the steps here, also RNA is isolated. Okay, RNA is isolated from several biological samples and treated with it is broken into small RNA fragments, and RNA fragment samples are loaded onto the agarose gel, and RNA samples are separated according to their size on the agarose gel, and whatever the RNA bands we formed at the end of the agarose gel electrophoresis, these are blotted onto the nylon membrane or to the nitrocellulose filter paper, NCP. Okay, you can see the arrangement here, and after transferring, we'll again go for hybridization process using probe. Okay, the membrane is placed in a probe buffer containing probe, and if we leave it to incubate for few hours, for couple of hours, this hybridization will occur between the probe and the suitable DNA fragment, and then finally what will happen? Hybridization occurs, and we should wash the excessive probe and go for autoradiography process. Okay, here not only the radio labeled probes were detected, here chemiluminescence reactions can also be detected, can also be helpful in identification of this RNA using autoradiography. Okay, so if you see the applications, you can study gene expression at the level of mRNA. Okay, mRNA transcript can be studied for the gene expression, and this transcript size can also be detected using mRNA, and RNA degradation can be studied, RNA splicing can be studied, RNA half-life can be studied, and internal ribosomal entry sites also excuse me, internal ribosomal entry sites can also be studied, and these are the applications of Northern blotting. If you see advantages here, it is widely accepted, and this Northern blotting is straightforward method, and this is meant for confirmation and check. Okay, and it is a versatile protocol. Is a versatile protocol for the usage of multiple types of probes. Okay, you can use radio labeled and non-radio labeled probes also. If you see the disadvantages, this radioactivity is used in this Northern blotting, it will prevent the ease of performing. Okay, and Northern blotting will take long time. This is also a drawback, and also whatever the RNases activity on RNA sample will decrease the expression of the RNA. Okay, these are the disadvantages of the Northern blotting. Okay, Now let's see Western blotting. Okay. This Western blotting can also be called as immunoblotting. Okay. Western blotting is an immunoblotting technique which rely on the specificity of binding between a molecule of interest and a probe to allow detect the molecule of interest in a mixture of many other similar molecules. So here what happens means, specifically binding will be occurred between a molecule of interest and probe, and these two attach to each other. That means molecule of interest and probe attachment will lead us to detect another molecule of interest, okay, in the mixture. Okay, this is Western blotting, and this was developed by Tobin and his co-workers in the year 1979. In Western blotting, the molecule of interest is a protein and the probe is typically an antibody raised against the particular protein. Okay. So here SDS page technique is a prerequisite for Western blotting. If you see this SDS page, it is a electrophoretic technique in which we will use sodium dodecyl sulfate as the base here. Okay, so sodium dodecyl sulfate gel is used here. Like agarose gel electrophoresis, we will not use single gel. Here stacking and stacking gel and stock gel, two types of gels will be used. Okay, it is a little complicated electrophoretic technique, but it is a prerequisite for the Western blotting. Okay. So let's see the steps in this Western blotting. So for this Western blotting, we'll take a protein. A protein sample is subjected to electrophoresis on the SDS page. Okay, sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis will carry this SDS page for protein before the Western blotting. Okay, so this Western blotting, if you see, this is the gel after SDS page. Okay, this gel should be handled with utmost care. Why? Because this gel is not thicker like agarose gel. It is very thin and it is present between two glass plates. Okay, while demolding the gel, it is we should take utmost care. Okay, and the electroblotting transfers the separated proteins from the gel to the surface of the nitrocellulose membrane. Okay, so here electroblotting means will transfer the protein bands produced on the SDS page gel to the NCP paper, nitrocellulose membrane paper, by electroblotting method. Okay, and the blot is incubated with a generic protein like bovine serum albumin. That means this blot is incubated with milk proteins or with the bovine serum albumin, which binds to any remaining sticky places on the nitrocellulose. Okay, to avoid cross-linking. This other area of the nitrocellulose paper is treated with this particular generic proteins like bovine serum albumin or milk proteins. And now an antibody which is specific for the protein of interest is added to the nitrocellulose sheet and reacts with the antigen. Okay, so here primary antibody, that means antibody which is specific for the protein of interest, will bind, okay, to will be added to the nitrocellulose sheet and reacts with the antigen. Okay, only the band containing the protein of interest binds the antibody, forming a layer of antibody molecules. Okay, here what will happen? Primary antibody will only bind to the suitable protein and form a layer of antibody molecules. Okay, and next, following several rinses for removal of non-specific bound primary antibody. That means here if you see the diagram, we have target protein and primary antibody. So we just discussed till primary antibody. So the excessive and non-specific bounding of this primary antibody will be removed with several washes. Okay, several rinses. We can remove the non-specifically bound first primary antibody, and primary antigen complex on the nitrocellulose sheet is incubated with second antibody. Okay, so this target protein with primary antibody will be again treated with second antibody. Okay, so which specifically recognize the Fc domain of the primary antibody and binds to it. Okay, so again a secondary antibody will be bound to the primary antibody. Here the secondary antibody is radioactively labeled. It is a radioactively labeled one, and it will covalently link to a reporter enzyme. Okay, this will help for this will have a reporter enzyme binding site, and this will allow to visualize the protein AB1 AB2 complex. Okay, so this is how this Western blot will be carried. We can also call this as enzyme linked or immuno blot. Okay, if you see the applications of Western blot method, the confirmatory HIV test employs a Western blot to detect anti-HIV antibody in the human serum sample. So for this Western blot, this Western blotting method is meant for the identification of HIV. Okay, and by conducting Western blot, we can detect anti-HIV antibody in the human serum sample. Okay, and proteins from non-HIV infected cells are separated and blotted on a membrane. Then the serum to be tested is applied in the primary antibody incubation step, and free antibody is washed away, and secondary anti-human antibody linked to an enzyme signal is added, and the stained bands then indicate the proteins to which the patient's serum contain antibody. So here as secondary antibody, patient's sample is added. Okay, so this is how a Western blot for the detection of HIV will be carried. How? First, protein from non-HIV infected cells is separated and it is blotted on the membrane. Okay, and serum to be tested is applied to as the primary antibody. Okay, these serums will be available with the kit itself, and this will be applied onto the protein sample, and patient sample is taken as a secondary antibody, and if patient contains HIV, immediately that HIV antibody will bind and produce enzyme activity, and it will produce a stain band. Okay, it indicates the presence of HIV in the patient. Okay, and a Western blot is also used as the defective test, a definitive test for bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Okay, bovine spongiform encephalopathy is also detected using this Western blot. Okay, it is commonly called as mad cow disease. During immunology, we can discuss about this mad cow disease. Okay, and some forms of Lyme disease testing employs Western blotting. Okay, for Lyme disease identification also this Western blotting is used. If now let's see about advantages of this Western blotting. Advantages of this Western blotting. ELISA measures antibody to whole virus and gives a positive, negative or indeterminate test result. Western blotting is more specific test, okay, when compared to enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. This is also a immunological assay, but this will just measure antibody to whole virus, okay, and it will give positive, negative or some result. But Western blotting is more specific when compared to this particular ELISA. Okay, Western blot analysis can detect one protein in a mixture of any number of proteins. Okay, here only interaction between antibody and antigen will be recorded in case of ELISA, whereas coming to Western blot, here protein, it is based on protein, and protein, any part of the protein in a mixture of number of proteins can be easily detected. Okay, it will give perfect information about the size of the protein also, and this provides more specific result than the ELISA protocol by providing additional information regarding protein size, and multiple bands will be found. And Western blot test is referred as the gold standard, meaning it trumps any other positive tests. Okay, that means this is a standard test. Okay, it will give 100% accurate results. Western blotting tells you how much protein has accumulated in cells also. Here the quantity of the protein can also be detected. Now let's see about disadvantages of this Western blotting. Coming to disadvantages, it is a time consuming compared to ELISA. Okay, it is more time consuming. Western blot will consume more time when compared to ELISA. If a protein is degraded quickly, Western blotting won't detect it well. Okay, if protein degradation is quick, that means if the protein that we are going to use in the Western blot will be degraded fastly, then Western blotting won't detect that particular protein, because as this Western blotting process will take long period of time. Before the action of Western blotting only this protein will be degraded, so there will be no result at all. Okay, and it is also costly. It is also more costly when compared to ELISA, and additionally it requires optimizing of the experimental conditions in terms of protein isolation, buffers, type of separation, gel concentration. Everything should be perfect, and it requires all optimum conditions for the Western blotting experiment. That's why this particular Western blotting is one of the important advantage of this particular Western blotting. If you see application of Western blotting technique, bacterial infections and tissue specific HSP 72, 73 and 90 expression in Western painted turtles is identified using this Western blotting successfully. Okay, successfully. The scientists successfully identified these bacterial infections and tissue specific HSP 72, HSP 73, HSP 90 expressions in Western painted turtles. Okay, this is about Western blotting. So if you see about this Western blotting, This is widely used analytical technique, and it consists of two steps: SDS page and immunoblot. SDS page, if you see, protein sample is subjected to electrophoresis on sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel, and this sodium dodecyl sulfate unfolds the complex structure of the protein and loads them with negative charges. On the gel, the protein will be moved towards a positive electrode and separated according to their molecular weight, and smaller proteins will migrate fast. And the next step is immunoblot. Here the gel is then blotted on nitrocellulose membrane using electrophoresis inside immunoblot apparatus. Okay. And note that inside the immunoblot apparatus, the gel must be placed towards the negative electrode and membrane is placed towards the positive electrode. Inside the immunoblot apparatus, proteins on the gel will be transferred to the membrane. So this is the arrangement of this particular immunoblot. Okay. There will be foam pad, filter paper, membrane, gel, filter paper, again foam pad and cassette holder. Okay, so these will be closed in this particular cassette and this will be placed inside the immunoblot apparatus. Okay, so inside the immunoblot apparatus, proteins on the gel will be transferred to the membrane. After blotting, the membrane is blocked by adding serum albumin, which prevents non-specific absorption of antibodies that will be added to the membrane. Then the membrane is mixed with primary antibody against the protein of interest. Okay, primary antibody is added, and again washing step will be there to remove the excessive primary antibody, and secondary antibody is labeled with enzyme and it is added to the particular protein. And after washing the membrane, a substrate for the enzyme is added to the membrane. Okay, and the enzyme acts on the substrate, producing color at the site of the protein of interest. Okay, so coming to applications, obviously in diagnosis of infectious diseases like tuberculosis, and diagnosis of tumors like leukemia, lymphomia, diagnosis of genetic diseases in forensic medicine like paternity testing, and also for identification of HIV also this particular Western blotting is used. Okay, so please listen to the classes for 1 to 2 times. If you have any doubts, please contact me. Please note the important points while listening to the class. Have a happy learning and always stay safe. Thank you, students.
చేస్తావా?